Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, post-market report on this Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. People, where do you want to start? I mean, I got paperwork all over this desk. It's freak show on a crazy scale. Let's start off with this. I got a lot to cover with you. So we heard from the supreme overlords today, and I'm referring to, of course, the Federal Reserve. Um, so the Federal Reserve's beige book, the beige book. This is supposed to be, the Bible of economic activity here in the United States. Now, according to the beige book, uh, we're doing good. Economy is fine. We're just there's nothing really to worry about. Well, uh, what about this? What is Greg about to show you? Oh, you know how I love the Federal Reserve's website because it's all right there. It's all right there. This is a chart here of real GDP according to the Federal Reserve and what they're seeing here. So if what the Federal Reserve is saying that the U.S. economy here is we're doing well here. Actually, hold that thought. U.S. economy growth is strong. So the U.S. economy, our growth is strong. So again, that's the beige book. If that's really the truth, then why does the Federal Reserve have this chart here? Real GDP, obviously in decline. Why do they have this posted right on their website? If the economy, if we're, I don't get it. You see, well, let me think. Let maybe I'm missing something. Okay, Fed's beige book says the economy is strong. We're growing, but right on their own website, they're saying that GDP is declining. Oh, I don't get it. Can someone out here smarter than me explain this? Because you see, it's above my pay grade, quite obviously. We also found out, this is too much. And I forgot to discuss this earlier today. Our economy is so strong. According to the Federal Reserve's beige book, I'm laughing, but I shouldn't be laughing here. Mortgage demand is at a 28-year low. That's how strong our economy is. It's great, it's fantastic, it's beautiful, it's lovely. You know it is because they're telling you it is. Let me explain something to you, maybe another way, or maybe touch on a topic that you and I have been speaking about for 10 freaking years. 10 freaking years. Are you ready to hear what that is? Okay, everyone. We have covered at length to the point of nauseum, and I mean this literally, that central banks are they're in a race to the bottom. They are deliberately destroying the purchasing power of their currency. They're doing this by design. Who can win this race to the bottom? And we are all paying for it. But I don't know. I don't see anybody doing a damn thing about it except you and I. I mean, this is deliberate, quite obviously. But again, the US dollar is the prettiest bell here at the ball, and we knew it would remain that way. But that doesn't negate the fact, thank you, Helen, wow, that the US dollar's purchasing power is evaporating. This is why we're seeing it. People don't understand the mechanism, even at its most basic level. Okay. Is it just, for example, that this natural ice piece, this chapstick here, did this just miraculously gain in value? Or is it that the dollar in this case is losing value? So it takes more dollars to buy this little piece of thing here. What do you think it is? Or maybe my cherished red stapler? Same thing. Same thing. You understand? All these lovely things that we all carry around, these tracking devices. Oh, can you see that? Ah, it's my lady. Anyway, people, you got to have a little fun once in a while. If you don't, this entire freaking, you're going to lose your mind here. These little things that I do, it's like I can't help it. It's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. Now, honestly, look, people, the currency situation here is we're in a global currency breakdown. The entire world right now is breaking down. And we are seeing the effect of this by wars, expanding wars, the propagation of war, funding for war, on top of inflation that continues to outpace everything else, especially every projection. I mean, this drives me nuts. How do you let me look? We're all friends, right? And me and Lava Girl and Perry and all my good friends here. We can discuss anything, right? Okay. Um, why is it? Let's see. Why is it, do you think, that we are consistently and repeatedly lied to? It just doesn't stop. It gets bigger and bigger and more monumental because the bigger the lies get, the easier it is for people to believe it. Right, Axiom? I know you get it, bro. I know you get it. Alan Greenspan's here. Everybody knows it. I know it's crazy. Yeah. Office Space. That's why I actually got this thing. Happen to love that movie. But on a serious note, we're in a currency collapse around the world. And this currency collapse around the world has preceded the breakdown of the system. This is central banks collectively fulfilling their end game. They have one goal, people, to inflate. You know that, but it's even more dastardly than that. Central banks have been given the power to create cash out of nothing, just add digits to a screen. And they have the power to do whatever they want with it. We, the people, have given them that power. It's an incredible thing. It really, really is. What central banks are doing with their product, they have only one product, that is they issue currency, which is debt to the world. And you and I work for the privilege to borrow that cash from the Federal Reserve. You don't own it. You know that already. I've told you this a million times. The cash that you go out and work for every single day, and you love looking at that paycheck, playing with it, licking it, all that, whatever you want to do. You don't own it. It's owed back to the issuing central bank, plus interest they create out of nothing. You work for the privilege to borrow that. That's all it is. It's their system. They can do whatever they want with it. Now, central banks are using their ability to create cash in any amount they want to, not just to fund this war and both sides of wars and everything else, but to own it all. Their goal, listen, don't take my word for anything I am saying. Okay, the topic of what central banks have, what their grand plan is and has been since their inception is common knowledge. All right, a few books out here cover it all. The Creature from Jekyll Island is a big one here. Eventually, to own the world. This is what they are doing. Stefan, thank you so much, man. Refuse at all costs their attempts to control our lives. Yes, and that's what they're doing. You see, you and I, you and me, and everyone here, we get it. And I know I sit here every day and I preach to the choir. All right. But I'm hoping we can get more choir members here to understand what's happening to them. People literally don't know. And then that's the other thing they do is they're people. And I get it. They feel a deep internal need to assign blame. They must assign blame by pointing at a group of people for whatever reason. Okay, and putting the blame on that group of people, whatever it might be. Okay, it makes the world tolerable. It makes it understandable because an intangible, invisible kind of an enemy, if you want to call it that way, is very difficult to get a head around. It's much simpler for those, especially with well, I'm going to just go ahead and say it, with simple minds. Okay, are unable, those that are unable to think outside the box. They must focus, and they're told where to focus, so they do. You understand? People are very susceptible to suggestion. Okay, this is what's going on. And then all of a sudden these wheels start turning and then, oh, well, it must be that. It has to be because it can't be anything else. And that's what they do. When things are kind of out there and they seem like, again, there's an invisible enemy here for the most part. Thank you, Raphael. I appreciate that. But you all know who it is. Again, it's so simple to understand why Greg Mannarino points his fingers at central banks, because they fund it all. They run the world, the economy of the world, the financial system of the world, the financial markets of the world, everything. Okay. They're the one world government we have all been warned about since forever. And I am very well aware of what their goals are. I can tell you, I've read probably every book I can find and then some of it pretty out there, but on the Federal Reserve and central banking and how it works. And it took me a long time to be able to develop a clear picture, which I believe most of you here would agree with, as to what is going on. I mean, it's really, really in our faces here, and it's um, the mechanism here to for these institutions is they must remain blameless. That's because, again, it's these institutions that are destroying their currency, that are bringing the world to the brink of collapse, that are fostering a global economic meltdown. And this is, we're just at the tip of the iceberg here. Again, there's a new system. We all know it's coming. Okay. And no law, no rule, no mandate is going to prevent a central bank digital currency from coming through. Okay. You want to know how you can, I mean, look, they always tell you the truth. And I'm going to urge you to do this. Open up a new window if you like while you're watching this. Go to the Bank of International Settlements. They have their mission. This Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, it's run by the central banks, and they're telling you right on their front page what their mission is: a one world system, a one world digital currency. The truth is always hidden in plain sight. People just don't know where to look for it. For example, like that chart I just showed you. I mean, where did I put that darn thing? Wherever it is. Here it is. Yeah, like this one. How the economy is growing and the economy is strong. But right on their website, this tells you the opposite. You see, people just hear things and they just believe it's true. And I want you out here, what I've been telling you for the longest time, question everything. Question Greg Mannarino. Question yourself. Question every freaking thing that comes around, because it's the only way your brain is going to being allowed to engage. Once you engage your brain, honestly, it's a beautiful thing. The whole world becomes a different place to you. Most people walk through time and space not knowing who they are, what they're doing, or why they're doing it. They just drone from place to place to place. Then they turn on the propaganda ministry and the tell lie vision, and they get the programming is rammed into them and rammed into them and rammed into them and rammed into them, and things are repeated. If you notice, again, listen to TV commercials. You can learn a lot from a television commercial. They repeat things 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, 3 different ways, 3 different faces. It's always the programming. It's the way it works. They understand how it works. Okay, it's a mesmerizing kind of a psyop, and that's what they're doing to the people of the world here. And they're telling you again, from the Fed today, how everything is great, how our economy is strong. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's these institutions who are dismantling it. It's these institutions who are bringing it down by design, because they have a grand plan. Their grand plan is a completely new system of maximum control. Okay, right now they're creating slaves to the system, people who are dependent on the current system. For when it goes away, you can look to the squeaky clean central banks, because they have your best interest in mind. And they're going to give us all a solution. They're going to make us beg for it. They're going to make us beg for it. Again, that's it. Look, there's so much more stuff I want to talk about, but I can't let these videos get too long here. Let me say this too real quick. The stock market took a hit today. Let's switch gears a little bit. The stock market took a hit today, and this is on the back of rising risk in this market. The MMRI hit a record high today. Last time I looked at it was 324. I think it's something like that. I don't know where it is. That's pretty much a record high. We might hit 325 today. I'm not even sure, but it was a record high. And this is a big problem here. We have a global economy in collapse. We have a system where central banks are destroying the purchasing power of their currency. At the same time, cash is drying up. It's illiquid. That's the backbone of the problem. Understanding that, even though I know it's a weird kind of a paradox to understand, but I cover it all the time, again, to the point of nauseum. Even though the world is awash in debt, the debt can never be satisfied. It must constantly and relentlessly be piled on and piled on and piled on. And even if they were able to make it whole 30 seconds ago, we have another vacuum. It operates in a perpetual vacuum. It can never stop. And more reasons must be created out of nothing to allow cash to be put into the system. Okay, now this whole war is yet another mechanism to do that. New false flag. This new false flag didn't work. Okay, that means something bigger must occur. Must occur. Now let's talk about that a little bit more. If you recall, in fact, where did I put this? I got stuff all over the place. Look at this. This is from the 11th here, just a day or two after the war started, the new war. And as you and I spoke about, if you recall, on that Sunday, okay, we found out the war started on the market finished up markedly higher Friday. Saturday, the war started, okay? And I said on that Sunday, I said, watch what's going to happen. 10-year yield is going to drop. We're going to get some stabilization here in the debt market. Again, it's all about liquidity. That's exactly what did happen. Now, going back to here, again, right at the onset, MMRI dropped, risk dropped in this market. The market was going higher and higher and higher and higher. Let me just read this to you. So, Lions and Friends, this is on the 11th, all right? Exactly as it was and is meant to do. Expanding war has stabilized the debt market just as we said it would. For now, more liquidity is being pumped into the dying system. Here in the United States, the entire yield curve has dropped. The MMRI has fallen below 300. Now, look what I wrote in bold. Bold, okay? This will not last without more war, more death, and another false flag. This false flag did not work. The attack on the hospital did not work. It just didn't create enough fear. So I wrote this second piece today. Okay, this is our buddy Smedley. Remember this guy? U.S. Marine Corps General, 2 times Medal of Honor recipient. War is a racket. It always has been. It is possibly the oldest and most profitable, surely the most vicious, and is the only one international in scope. It is the only racket in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. A racket is best described in Smedley's words as something that is not what it appears to be to the majority of the people. Imagine my shock. Anyway, I just happened to catch this as I print on both sides. Lovely. Anyway, this is from today. Something is going to break. I'm telling you, something is breaking here. The system is coming apart. Now, there's a few key pieces here. This is in your inbox. All this stuff is in your inbox if you subscribe to my newsletter. Just let me focus on a few things with you, and I want you to think about it, okay? Lions and Friends, as I am writing this, the 10-year yield is rising rapidly, and something is going to break. Currently, the MMRI was over 321. I think it's higher than that now. Along with rapidly rising risk, understanding the mechanism here with war expanding and the most recent false flag hospital bombing, risk can be measured in human lives. Risk can be measured in human lives. Risk can also be measured in dollars being pumped into the system. Human lives are being swapped out, as they always are, for dollars. Moreover, being that the purchasing power of the dollar is being deliberately inflated away, okay, by central banks and other currencies around the world, I just focused on the Fed here, it will take more human lives to prop up the system. Does this make sense to you? I think when I wrote this and when I went, ooh, this is good, Greg. Some things just pop out of my head and it scares me sometimes. I don't know where it even comes from, I'll be honest with you. And it's kind of crazy, but don't you think that's pretty profound? I think you do. At least I would hope you would agree with me on that. Look, a couple of things have to happen here. We have already covered right here. Wow, 825 thumbs up. I'm sorry, that just caught my attention, and thank you all so much here. We've already covered at length that in order to keep the system liquid for now, this is just a Band-Aid. How many times have you heard me say this over the past week? I don't know, since the war started, this new war. Okay, you notice how everything else is gone? The Maui fires, you don't hear about that anymore. Oh, no, Ukraine-Russia war, oh, that's gone too. Even COVID is gone too. Now everything's about this. Anyway, that's just how they operate. I think we pretty much know that. But again, understanding now that the system is a liquid and the liquidity is drying up very rapidly, it's extreme. I mean, risk in this market is unbelievable, and the stock market itself is absolutely detached from reality. You will all know that. People look at the stock market and believe it is reflective of what's happening in the economy. For example, the Fed today saying the economy is strong. People look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 30 lousy companies, okay? And they think, oh, well, if the stock market's doing well, then, this Federal Reserve must be correct. This is the illusion. It's the illusion of the market that I have tried very hard and I have worked on to try to expose to all of you for a very, very long time. I have been saying the illusion of the market will be maintained. I've been explaining to you this is a presidential selection cycle. Selection, selection, selection. It's a selection cycle. It's not an election cycle. It's a selection cycle, period. All the pawns are in place right now. The buildup of the United States military. Now it's armed to the teeth and beyond. And now this weapon can be pointed wherever they want in the world. You understand? Every person plays their part here. Every president plays their role here. Okay. It should be pretty obvious to all of you out here what's going on here. The easy money that has been pumped into the economy, into the system, it's out of control. But again, it's all about control, and that's where it's leading up to. Anyway, I totally lost my train of thought here. My brain is in 50 freaking places at the same freaking time here. Anyway, yes, guys, I was going back to the market and the 10-year yield and risk. So understanding that not even the bombing of a hospital was enough to create more fear, thinking that there'll be a wider war, something bigger is going to happen. Now, the Fed could get in here and buy more debt, which they do every day. The Fed buys debt every single day. They can't just say they're keeping rates low. They have to buy debt. They have to create cash out of nothing and buy debt. That's how central banks work. You're not supposed to know that, but that's how people are supposed to believe that the freaks like Neil Kashkari, they walk through the halls of the Federal Reserve wearing white gowns, whatever it might be. But no, it's not like that at all. They can proclaim things. These things are like gods. They can say, hey, we're going to keep rates low, and they just miraculously stay low. No, the Fed and other central banks must get into the market. They have to buy the debt for that to happen. And, with nations around the world dumping debt at a record pace, it's a problem. It's a problem there that someone's selling, someone's got to buy, especially if the Fed wants to keep rates where they are. Understand? There's no free market here. There's no letting the market decide what the fair value is for debt. It's a game that is being played, and the debt market is a time bomb. It's ticking louder and faster, gauging from risk in this market. It should be pretty obvious to everybody. So the Fed can buy more debt. That's the truth. The Fed can weaken the dollar more so. Absolutely, they can do that. The Federal Reserve can also propagate more war. I mean, that's what they do, and fund every part of every war. They're more than happy to do this here. To any mechanism at all to pull cash into the now or to weaken the dollar, whatever they got to do to keep the system propped up. But without more of that, it's not going to work. And I always said right at the beginning, this could backfire. Okay, this propping up of the debt machine, the war machine, the military industrial complex, all part of the same thing. You understand? It's crazy, but that's what's going on. And people walk around. They have no idea what's going on. They're clueless at all. They don't know. And again, they're desperate. People looking for a scapegoat. They're already setting it up. The mainstream media of talking about more inflation coming. Oh, inflation's coming. It may reawaken. It's going to reinvigorate inflation because it's so good now. And they're going to blame it on the war. It's just set up. We're all being set up. And of course, it's the blame game. It's the I must assign blame. People who are doing that, like I said, it's the small-minded here. And you're being told what to do and you are complying. And it's not what you think it is. It isn't. Nothing is ever what it seems to be. And you all know that. Anyway, look, this video is getting kind of long. I do want to answer some questions that I see are popping up here. So let's do that here. All right. Why can't they just print? Well, because all right, that's a good question. Why just can't they print? Think about the question you're asking. Okay, you're asking, why can't they just print and print and print? I've answered this before a million times, but let's cover it. Maybe you're new here. Okay, when the central bank creates a bill, when they create a bill either in printed form or in digital form, is it automatically worth, let's say in this case, the Federal Reserve, is it worth $1? does it have the exact same purchasing power as the last series of bills that were just made out of wherever they came from, either digital or paper? No, it doesn't. Every one of those bills must steal a fraction of 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 value from every other existing bill. So when the Fed creates, or any central bank creates, their fiat currency, their one and only product, which is theirs, they own it, it is owed back to them plus the interest they create out of nothing. Okay. It steals purchasing power. Every bill that is created out of nothing steals purchasing power from every other existing bill. So when you hear about the billions and tens of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars that we're sending here to fund this, and we're doing this, that's massively inflationary. You're not allowed to know it. We don't have a war chest. No country on the planet has a war chest. Central banks must supply the liquidity or the cash for the war or anything they want to fund. You understand? That's how it works. They can't print into oblivion. We've hit the moment of maximum saturation. The first sign that we are in a moment of maximum saturation is widespread global inflation. And that's what we have now. This is central banks working collectively to destroy their currency, as we started this video off with. It's part of the breaking down or the taking down of the current system. The system is illiquid. The system operates in a constant deficit. The stuff I've been telling you for years, you can see it playing out in real time. You understand? It's pretty easy. Once you realize the mechanisms, everything becomes freaking crystal freaking clear to you. You understand? Now, look, I always go off on gold and silver and platinum and palladium and commodities, which I do believe all of these are going to skyrocket in value moving forward as the dollar and the rest of fiat currencies are melting down and risk on turns risk off. That's all true. I will never waver from that. I also believe cash is going to eventually get its way into cryptos, artwork, classic cars, musical instruments, stuff like that. It's all going to look for a place to go. Cash doesn't grow money wings and fly away. All this extra cash that's being added to the system is going to take all of these majorly suppressed assets and make them go up even higher in value. And all that's well and good. That is well and good. But again, it's so much bigger than all that, people. I mean, I tell you, what is our greatest resource? It's each other. All right. We have to love each other, care about each other, be charitable. I don't care what you look like, what color your skin is, what religion you may be, or you want to be, or whatever it is. You know, we're a big family here, and they're telling you where to look. They're telling you who to hate. That should say something to you. You should understand that we are not each other's enemies. You see this thing going on all around you? That's it. It's the central banks. They are the enemy. Period. 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 Anyway, all right, people, I think we're going to call this video here. It's been pretty long. I hope I covered enough for all of you that you can get a handle on this. And again, we do this every day, twice a day. It's a pretty amazing thing. I do look forward to these live streams more so than anything else, is the truth. And the only reason why I split these up, most of you know why, I think. I do the recorded video in the morning, and I do the live stream at night. Why? I tried to make this whole thing a live stream, morning and night. But so many people hated it. They were like, "Oh, I hate the live stream. The live stream is terrible. I'm leaving you, Greg. I'm unsubscribing from your channel because this live stream is awful." So to me, and some people love it. So I do too. I do the one in the morning where, it's recorded, which I'd rather not do. And then I do this one, which is much more enjoyable to me. Thank you, Clever Custom Performance, because I get to interact with all of you. I get to see you. I know your names. I know all of your names. Those of you that come here, and it's just so important to me. We're a family. We are a freaking family. This is a global thing, and in my view, with the resistance as well, we are raising awareness. We are raising awareness. It's just, in my view, it's the most important thing. Knowledge is power, and that makes us a threat. They want us dumbed down. They've put forth every effort that you could dream about to dumb us down. It's not working. It's not working, and that's the proof is right freaking here. Yes, James Real, we are being conquered. They want us, again, dependent on their system. They must create more dependency on their system. They're hell-bent on power. Power to these things, okay? And they're not human, and I say why they're not human, because they don't possess a human quality. Look, for example, let's say you wrong somebody, okay? And let's say you get an argument, And then you think about it after a while. You're like, well, I said things I really didn't mean. And I'm going to go apologize to that person. And I hope they forgive me, whatever it might be. Some people don't. It hurts you when you call out someone, okay, without really understanding what's going on. You're really hurting yourself in a lot of ways. And we carry that with us, all of us. We carry that with us through life. And I think that's a major form of like stress, sickness, illness, aging. I wrote a paper when I was in school. I was taking a class, psychoneuroimmunology. And it was on the effect of stress on the human body. Most of you know I practiced medicine for 20 years. And um, you know, the stress has stress will people say stress will kill you. It actually will kill you. And a lot of people carry that around with them. You know what I'm gonna tell you right now? Put it down. A lot of us carry around stuff that we've done, or maybe even imagine that we have done in the past, and we carry that every day. We carry it around. It's a burden. And the weight of it is overwhelming. It really is. And it's very difficult to do what I'm going to say to do. And I grapple with this every day. It's the truth. Look, I haven't always been the best person in the world to people that I've loved in the past. And I've done my share of really bad things to people over the years, and stuff I regret to really badly. It's the truth. And I carry that around. But you got to let it go sometimes. You got to find a way to put it down. Otherwise, it's going to weigh on you and it's going to destroy your life. It's going to shorten your life too, cause stress, anxiety, illness, all this kind of stuff. And we can't get away from it. It's just being human. Sometimes we turn left when we should have turned right. Blah blah blah. We do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, hurt the wrong person. People. We should never go out of our way to hurt anybody. All right, that's the truth, because you're going to carry that around with you. It may not seem that way, but when you get old like me, how old am I? I'm freaking 58, right? When you get old like me, you start to reflect on things. You start to think more about your past, stuff that maybe you've done in the past, maybe you're not too proud of. I can definitely say I've done a lot of things that I'm not proud of. And I would be willing to bet that most of you here would say the same thing. But we got to let it go. You have to come to a peace with it. If it even means you got to reach out to people from the past. And if you can't, that's okay too. I wish I could have done this. I couldn't do that. But that's okay. You know what? Try to let it go. See how that works out for you. And I sincerely hope that you find a peace with whatever it is. All right, look, anyway, I'm going on and on. There's something really wrong with me at multiple levels, and I understand that. But I love all of you from the heart. I mean that. So if you got something out of this video, I thought to thank you. This may be close to a record here with regard to thumbs up here, almost 1,400. That's awesome. But more importantly, share this stuff. Get it out there. Let people hear this stuff. I really believe that we have the power to change the world by just showing a little kindness, maybe going out of our way to be nice. It's really not too much to ask for all of us, isn't it? Anyway, with that said, people, look, I'm out here. Love you a lot. I will see you in the morning. Keep your eyes on risk in this market. I really believe, honestly, that what we're seeing here with risk rising, more people are going to die. More body bags are going to be filled. The higher the risk goes beyond the market. I mean, forget this stinking market, okay? The illusion of it. I'm talking about it at a much bigger level here, and I think most of you get what I'm talking about here. All right. Goldstein, hello. How have you been? I'm sorry. I just happened to catch you being here. It's good to see you here. Honestly, I miss some of you. And you see, I know you guys and girls. If I don't see you here, like Lord Humongous, this guy here, you see him right here? This guy's been with me for I don't know how many freaking years. When he doesn't show up, it rattles my cage. It rattles me a little. Lava too, same thing. Magic Mika, Axiom, all my great friends here. When you guys don't show up, I don't like it. All right. Danny K, you too, bro. Alan, you too. Duplex Dave. Looks like Duplex Dave wants to be a groupie. I say, let's give him a hand of a big hand. All right, Dave, you are now a groupie. You feel good about yourself? Huh? I'm just playing with you, bro. You're a good guy, I'm sure. All right, I'm out here. I'll see you in the morning.